This is the Yay or Nay Show with Alex C. A sports show for sports fans by a sports fan. And now, here is Alex C.
Here we go. It is the Yay or Nay Show with Alex C., a sports show for sports fans by a sports fan. Let me clarify a couple of things that I spoke about yesterday. First and foremost, Super Bowl. The average median ticket price, $5,300. I said this yesterday. It was reiterated this morning on one of the morning shows that I was listening to, where they were talking about, the Super Bowl isn't really a place where fans get to go and watch the game. It's a place for corporate sponsors. Folks, that's a problem. The fact that we know this and we acknowledge this, that's a problem. In the environment that we currently live in, where everybody is rising up against everything, and we're talking about the separation between the rich and the poor, and yet the average median income guy can't go enjoy a sporting event like Major League Baseball or the National Basketball Association or the National Football League because the ticket prices are too high, and the only ones who can afford them on the regular are the people who either get sweet seats given to them by the corporations or the businesses that they work for, or the people who are in the upper echelon in regards to the income brackets that have the ability to be able to afford the high ticket prices, because you have people like Major League Baseball players constantly and consistently asking to make more money. And again, I just find it a little interesting. These same baseball players, football players, basketball players claim that they care about the average guy, yet they're always asking for more money, which makes it more difficult for the average guy to be able to go and enjoy a sporting event, let alone get to go see the biggest sporting events in the country, like the Super Bowl, like the World Series, like the NBA Finals. It's impossible to be able to do those things when you're just the average guy, because these guys continue to get richer and the poor continue to stay where they stand, and yet they're the guys that claim that they stand with you on all of these social justice issues. I find that interesting, and I find it hypocritical, because again, to acknowledge the fact that there are no real fans at the Super Bowl, there are only advertisers and their families at the Super Bowl, it's pretty pathetic. And you got to admit, something has to change. We have to stop supporting all these players constantly and consistently asking for more money when it only makes it more expensive and too expensive for us to be able to enjoy the sporting events live and in person. It's absolutely amazing to me how nobody rises up and says that enough is enough to the basketball players, the football players, the baseball players, but they complain about corporation CEOs and management and things of that nature. They complain about how much money they make, and they complain about the fact that they make too much money, and that because they make as much money as they make makes it impossible for the smaller guy to get any more money. It's the same thing when you're talking about baseball players, football players, and basketball players making more money and you not having enough money to enjoy the sporting events live. It's the exact same thing. So why are we rising up against one and not rising up against the other? These basketball players, football players, they don't worry about you. They're only trying to get as much money as they possibly can in their pocket. They're not worried about games being affordable for you. Folks, something has to change. Absolutely has to change. And you can't, again, rise up against CEOs, general managers, whatever the case may be, because they make too much money, and it's impossible for the little guy to make more money when we're talking about the little guy not being able to afford ticket prices, but yet you still got all the ball players requesting more money. It's the same thing. It is the same thing. All right, now moving over to the Super Bowl, talking about Matthew Stafford. National media is trying to say, look, if he wins the Super Bowl, he will go down in history as one of the greatest of all time, and he's a Hall of Fame guaranteed, and you will now know that he was better than everybody thought he was when he played for Detroit, and all he needed was a good team to play with. And I'm like, no. And again, this is another example of the national media just being a bunch of cheerleaders, propping up a player that doesn't deserve to be propped up, because Matthew Stafford had Megatron, one of the best wide receivers in the game. went to the playoffs, could not win a playoff game when he was playing with the Detroit Lions. Now you're telling me that you have Matthew Stafford, who gets traded to the LA Rams, and this is a lineup that is loaded for bear. Nothing but all-stars across the board, defensively, offensively, wide receivers, running backs. When somebody went out, they went and got somebody else to replace them. They got the obvious number one wide receiving core in the NFL. And yet, A, Matthew Stafford can barely win games with it. B, they're winning games despite the play of Matthew Stafford. C, you're telling me that if you go and you align yourself with nothing but superstars, and it takes you being aligned up with nothing but superstars in order to have the ability to be able to win games and compete for a Super Bowl, you're telling me that the only way you can do that, and even though that's the only way that you can do that, that qualifies you to be one of the best quarterbacks? No, not at all. You know how many quarterbacks you could plug and play in the LA Rams and you'd get the same results that you're getting now? Kyler Murray, even Dak Prescott would be hard-pressed to fail with this lineup. I get it. Dak Prescott's a failure. We all know that. But he would be hard-pressed to fail with the lineup and the roster that the Rams have. I mean, in order for him to fail with the lineup and the roster that Rams have, he'd have to be even worse than what I think Dak Prescott actually is. I can plug and play a lot of quarterbacks in this Rams lineup, and they're going to have the success that Matthew Stafford has, and in a lot of cases, better success. Joe Burrow, better. Better. Tom Brady, better. I could go on and on and on and on. Jimmy Garoppolo, better. No doubt in my mind. Kirk Cousins, be about the same. I mean, Russell Wilson, beyond better. This is a plug-and-play team with the Rams. It's a plug-and-play team. Very few quarterbacks could fail with this roster. So for you to tell me that Matthew Stafford, who couldn't win a playoff game in Detroit, who didn't have a team that could compete in the playoffs with Detroit, but has to get loaded up with a roster with nothing but all-stars, because that's what the Rams are, nothing but a bunch of all-stars. And they had to get loaded with a bunch of all-stars and continue to figure out how to load it even more in order to keep the Rams winning, because Matthew Stafford can't get it done. And he's sloppy with the ball, throws interceptions. He was one interception away from losing against the 49ers in the NFC Championship, and they should have lost that game. But he got lucky. The ball was dropped, so the momentum was kept by the Rams, and that's the reason why they were able to win. So the Rams won in spite of Matthew Stafford, not because of Matthew Stafford. The Rams are a winning team because of the roster, not because of Matthew Stafford. Let's be realistic here. The Rams win in spite of the play of Matthew Stafford, who at times is hot, but in the very same game, he will go ice cold. People want to make fun of Jimmy G all the time. Matthew Stafford isn't nothing but Jimmy G, except Matthew Stafford has a roster that's a lot more loaded than the one that Jimmy G has. And yet he was still barely able to beat Jimmy G and the San Francisco 49ers. Matthew Stafford is not as good as you're being told. National media wants to sell you a box of goods, and they're hoping you'll buy it. But the reality is Matthew Stafford is not even close to being as good as the national media wants you to believe he is. The Rams are winning in spite of the bad play. This guy throws interception after interception after interception. He's inconsistent. Balls are thrown behind receivers, over wide receivers. He misses reads. Folks, the Rams are winning in spite of the bad play of Matthew Stafford. He is an average quarterback at best. Average, not above average, definitely not excellent. He is an average quarterback at best. Yet the national media is trying to feed you the narrative. But even if you're just an average quarterback, if you win the Super Bowl, now you're a great quarterback. No, that doesn't make you great if you win a Super Bowl. There's a lot of variables in regards to how you can win a Super Bowl. Defenses, a roster like the ones that the Rams have. Again, let's take Matthew Stafford and put him back on Detroit. Let's take Matthew Stafford and put him on any other ball club in the NFL. Do you think Matthew Stafford will lead any other team to the Super Bowl? What if Matthew Stafford was the quarterback for the New Orleans Saints? What if Matthew Stafford was the quarterback for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Maybe you could plug and play him with Tennessee. Maybe he might have a shot at Tampa Bay. Maybe. He wouldn't get the New York Giants there. He wouldn't get the New York Jets there. He wouldn't get the Cincinnati Bengals there. He wouldn't get the San Francisco 49ers there because he's not a quarterback that makes a difference. He's not. Again, maybe he might have an opportunity. Probably not, though, because the roster really isn't as good as everybody thought in Tampa Bay. So maybe in Tampa Bay, but I really don't think so. But the bottom line is, if you replace Tom Brady with Matthew Stafford, would Tampa Bay be the odds-on favorite to go to the Super Bowl like they were this year? Absolutely not. Matthew Stafford is not that quarterback. The Jets, the Giants, the Falcons, the Saints, the 49ers. How about the Seahawks? How about the Cardinals? Would Matthew Stafford lead the Cardinals to the Super Bowl? Absolutely not. Because Matthew Stafford is not a great quarterback. And I just showed you how easy it is to dispel the myth that the media is trying to feed you in regards to how good Matthew Stafford is. Because you can't plug him on any other team in the NFL and say that they would be the odds-on favorite to go to the Super Bowl now that Matthew Stafford is the quarterback. How about the Denver Broncos? How about the team that everybody says is just a quarterback away from going to the Super Bowl? If you took Matthew Stafford and you plugged him in and you made him the starting quarterback for the Denver Broncos, would the Denver Broncos be the odds-on favorite to go to the Super Bowl? Would the Denver Broncos now be representing the AFC in the Super Bowl if Matthew Stafford was in fact their quarterback this year? No, they would not. Why? Because Matthew Stafford is not a difference maker. He is not a guy who's a quarterback that you could put the team on his shoulders and say, go win me a championship. He's not that quarterback. So if you can't plug and play him on any other team in the NFL and have them be the odds-on favorite to win a Super Bowl, then obviously that quarterback is not as good as the national media is trying to make you believe. And you can't plug and play Matthew Stafford on any other team in the NFL and have them be an odds-on favorite to win the Super Bowl. Even with Tampa Bay. And again, that would be the closest team to the Rams that you could get in regards to the roster being stacked. And I don't even think he'd really get that close with Tampa Bay. Because, again, I don't think that highly of the Tampa Bay Buccaneer roster to begin with. I think they were overhyped and overpromoted. But the bottom line is, if you plugged Matthew Stafford in instead of Tom Brady in this last season, here's the question. Would Tampa Bay even have gotten as far as they did this year if you replaced Tom Brady with Matthew Stafford? Would you have seen Tampa Bay get as far as they did this year with Matthew Stafford in place of Tom Brady? Absolutely not. San Francisco 49ers, no. Cardinals, no. Could he make a difference in Seattle? Would they have been in the playoffs? No. How about the Oakland Raiders? Would he have led the Oakland Raiders to the AFC Championship at least? No. Matthew Stafford's not that quarterback, folks. Absolutely not that quarterback. Now, staying with the NFL, staying with quarterbacks, Kyler Murray. Apparently, Kyler Murray has deleted everything from his Instagram account except for him and a picture from the Pro Bowl. And that's it. And there was a lot of talk about this, and I thought this was really interesting, actually, because it leads to a question that I'm going to tell you that the national media posed this morning, and I thought it was kind of funny in regards to the response that was given by a couple of guys. But the bottom line is, Kyler Murray deleted all of the pictures from the Arizona Cardinals and anything and everything off of his Instagram account, and all that's up there is a picture from the Pro Bowl. Now everybody's speculating. In the national media side, they're all speculating he's upset with the Cardinals. There must be something there. They have no idea what it is. There are no reports as of yet that I have heard, but everybody's reporting that he's probably upset with the Cardinals. That's the only reason why you would do that, and I would agree with that. However, before I get into that part, a buddy of mine called me a little while ago. He says, yeah, I was listening to the local media this morning, and they were all making fun of the national media, talking about how stupid they sounded. There's nothing there. They're all making a big deal out of nothing. There's nothing there. But that's how the local media is out here. You know, you get the general managers of sports teams out here to get busted for drinking and driving. They act like it's no big deal. No big deal. Nothing to see here. Robert Sarver, Phoenix Suns, under investigation, racial allegations against him. Local media out here is acting like nothing exists. There's no problem. There's nothing going on. You wouldn't even know there's an investigation because the local media won't cover it at all. They're all afraid of Sarver for whatever the reason is. I guess they're afraid of any organization out here in Arizona. They're afraid to talk anything negative about him in any way, shape, or form. So they don't want to talk about Kyler Murray probably for the same reasons. They don't want to talk about Kyler Murray and the possible dissension between him and the Cardinals. And they were laughing, I guess, and making jokes, apparently, as I was told. A buddy of mine was telling me because he was listening to local radio this morning, and he was telling me they were making jokes and making fun of the national media, and there's nothing there. And then they were moving on, and they were talking about the Phoenix Suns and all that stuff. Okay, that's the local media. Local media here, there isn't really anybody reputable here to begin with. Nobody really I would pay attention to in the local media here to begin with in any way, shape, or form anyways, TV or radio-wise. So when I look at this, I know that there could be a couple of question marks at play here. Number one being that, you got Cliff Kingsbury, final year of his contract. Let's face it. Let's be honest. We all know Cliff Kingsbury is on a hot seat right now. And when they start talking about this as we get closer to, training camp and stuff like that, and when they start about coaches that are on the hot seat, you know that one of the coaches they're going to talk about that's on the hot seat is going to be Cliff Kingsbury. You know that. It's unmistakable. It's undoubtable. There's no way that they're not going to be discussing it. Kyler Murray might be upset about that because if Cliff Kingsbury doesn't get an extension, what does that do for Kyler Murray and his chances to get an extension? Because there has been a lot of conversation that if anybody else came in to take over and they removed Cliff Kingsbury and they brought in a new coach, there's a lot of talk that whatever coach would want to take over the Cardinals would also, in fact, want to bring in his own quarterback. And I wouldn't blame him. And I would not blame him. There are a lot of people dissatisfied with the play of Kyler Murray. And let's face it, Kyler Murray, from what I have seen, starting with the pre-interviews before he entered the draft and he was drafted, where his dad was answering all the questions for him whenever anybody in the media was asking him questions, he would defer to his dad. He wasn't even man enough to answer his own questions, to the fact that he does not look like a leader of men now. Why would any coach want a guy who can't go in a locker room and be a leader of men? And I don't look at Kyler Murray as being a leader of men. When you see him on the sidelines and he looks all dejected, he doesn't look like he's interacting with anybody. He's really quiet. He's all by himself. He's not screaming. He's not shouting. He's not rallying his people. He's not shaking hands, giving dap, telling people good job. He's not doing anything like that at all. He looks like he's his own guy in his own world, self-absorbed, not a leader of men, not a leader of an NFL team. So if another coach came in and I was a Cardinals fan and I saw that another coach was coming in and he said he wanted to get rid of Kyler Murray, I would support that wholeheartedly. Why would I not support that? It absolutely would make sense to support that. So Kyler Murray might be upset because he knows if Cliff Kingsbury is gone, then the chances of him being able to hang on are also looking slim, and he knows that. But maybe it could be the other thing too. Maybe he's looking to get his extension now. A lot of times rookies on the last year of their rookie deal, first year of eligibility to get that extension, he might be looking to get that extension now. Steve Keim might not be looking to do it. Steve Keim has always said, why pay money till you have to pay money? The best chance to win a championship and do good is when you're paying a quarterback on their rookie contract. So Steve Keim might be able to ride the wave and get all the way through, pay some other people when needed, if possible, if he doesn't have to pay Kyler Murray now. But Kyler Murray might be looking to get paid now. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe that's where they're, not seeing eye to eye. So maybe Kyler Murray is trying to send a message to the fans and to the organization that he's not happy about Cliff Kingsbury not getting an extension, and the fact that he's not getting an extension. Maybe he's trying to let everybody know he's not happy and he's not satisfied and he wants something done before it comes time to do OTAs and training camp and spring ball and all the things that happen during the offseason. So maybe he's trying to get that done now, and Steve Keim is telling him no. But for the national, or I should say not national, for the local media to try and laugh and act like there's nothing there, think about it. Common sense tells you, why would he go and remove everything from the Arizona Cardinals from his Instagram account if there's not a problem? That's just common sense. The local media is the local media. Probably somebody tried to tell him, don't worry, there's nothing to see here. So they're just going to act like they got one up on the national media by acting like there's nothing to see here. But that's what they do here in the local media. Again, You wouldn't even know that Robert Sarver, owner of the Phoenix Suns, is under investigation for sexual harassment and all the other things that, have been said against him. You wouldn't know it if you listen to local media because they won't talk about it here. That's just how they are. New Orleans Saints, they're going to hire defensive coordinator Dennis Allen as the head coach. They've informed the defensive coordinator that they are hiring him as their next head coach. And Allen, who is 49, will replace his longtime boss, Sean Payton, who stepped away 2 weeks ago. This will be Allen's second stint as a head coach after he went 8-28 as the coach of the Raiders from 2012 to 2014. Me personally, I hear the national media guys all the time talking about how this guy is so great, he's so good. I'm looking at a record of 8-28, folks. That's what I'm seeing. You have a successful, iconic coach like Sean Payton. You're going to replace a successful and iconic coach with a guy who went 8-28 from 2012 to 2014 as the head coach of the then Oakland Raiders. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. I know the national media wants him hired. I know the reasons why they want him to be hired. I understand their aspirations for why they would want him hired, but I'm looking at the record, and for me personally as a fan, if I were a fan of the New Orleans Saints, I'd be like 8-28 is not good enough. Why are we hiring this guy? I would say we need to continue to search, but I don't make that decision. But I'm just saying that doesn't make any sense to me at all. Let's talk about Jimmy Garoppolo really quickly. We all know he did the news conference, and he did discuss the fact that he knew he was going to get traded. He said wherever he goes, he wants to go and he wants to play for a winner. Let's talk about some of the places that could potentially be landing spots for him. Pittsburgh Steelers, for instance. With Ben Roethlisberger hanging up the cleats after a historic 18-year run as the Steelers franchise quarterback, the team is searching for a veteran leader to usher in a new era. Garoppolo would appear to be the right man for the job after serving as an apprentice under Tom Brady in New England before running the show at San Francisco. I personally think my number one vote, first and foremost, is for Pittsburgh, and I think he's going to end up in Pittsburgh. I said this a few weeks ago, and I think this is where he's going to end up. I think it's the best place for him, and I think it's the team that will have the most success with him as the starting quarterback. The Washington Commanders, however, it's time for Ron Rivera and company to fix their quarterback problem after watching a number of potential quarterbacks struggle over the past 2 seasons. With Ryan Fitzpatrick, Taylor Heineke, and Kyle Allen, and others faltering under the weight of expectations, the time is now for the Commanders to make a move and close the gap on their competitors in the NFC. I don't think this would be a good fit. I don't think Ron Rivera's system would work for Jimmy Garoppolo. Plus, honestly, I think it's time the Washington Commanders make a move and get rid of Ron Rivera. That's personally what I think. Denver Broncos, the place where they say all they are is a quarterback away from going to the Super Bowl. Nathaniel Hackett's work with Blake Bortles in Jacksonville should prepare him for the challenge that lies ahead for the Broncos. The team's shaky quarterback situation has prevented a playoff caliber roster from reaching the postseason in recent years, with Teddy Bridgewater and Drew Lock coming off subpar seasons. And again, I don't believe in this roster like everybody in the national media does. I don't believe they're a postseason built roster, and I don't think Jimmy Garoppolo would enjoy much success with the lowly Broncos. I think it's a team you stay away from. Just like this next team, I think you stay away from them as well. Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins, their new head coach, might win the job by touting a plan to keep Tua, but as the team's franchise quarterback, you have to look at it as if they bring in Jimmy G, there would obviously have to be a open, what's the word I'm looking for here? There would have to be a challenge available for Jimmy Garoppolo to go up against Tua Tagovailoa, because you can't say that Tua is going to be the starter and bring in Jimmy G. There'd be no reason to bring in Jimmy G if you weren't having an open contest to see who the starting quarterback's going to be. And the ownership has already touted the fact that they're behind Tua Tagovailoa. So if you're Jimmy Garoppolo, why would you want to go to Miami? If the Saints' new coach isn't from Sean Payton's coaching tree, he might want to handpick his own quarterback to jumpstart the team's rebuilding efforts. Garoppolo would not only give the Saints a veteran quarterback with a winning pedigree and excellent intangibles, but he would offer more stability at the position than obviously Taysom Hill or Jameis Winston. We now know who the quarterback, or I should say who the coach for the New Orleans Saints is going to be. I don't think this is a place where Jimmy G wants to go. Again, my vote is for the team that's going to enjoy the best success and for Jimmy Garoppolo to enjoy his best success. The perfect match for him is to go to the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's obviously going to have to get traded to an AFC team, and the best place for him to get traded to is going to be the Pittsburgh Steelers. That is, to me, the odds-on favorite where Jimmy Garoppolo is going to end up. All right, so I got some other things I wanted to go over today, but we're kind of getting ready to run out of time here, so I'm going to go ahead and cut it off right here, right now. A lot of stories, a lot of things to talk about again tomorrow. You guys enjoy the rest of your day, and we will do this again tomorrow. This is the Yay or Nay Show with Alex C.